that you can score full 16 out of 16 depending on the quality of your piece of writing and the relevance attached to it. So, total time allocated in the course of this 2 hours paper is about 20 to 25 minutes. This is an approximate timing. Students are advised not to spend more than this time, so that they should be able to justify with all the 6 exercises equally. So, before we continue for the next session, we have here attendance. Students should be able to mark themselves present through this QR code, and there we proceed. First of all, after seeing the question on this, on the answer on the question paper, we are supposed to have some things in our mind. One thing is for sure, that we are in examination hall. Much depends on our performance and our delivery. The final product will be in the answer paper, and that will decide our fate. So, we must keep in mind that we should pay our full focus on what the question is about, and then we should be able to take our pen in order to opt for what is the most suitable for us, using all our imagination. A writing style is the most important element here. General advice on the grammar for report writing is to use a formal style. It is not something that we are, unlike email writing, casually when you are talking to somebody, it is a formal piece of writing, and in that you should not be using the expression I, me, mine, my. So, first person should be avoided in this according to the writing style suggested by the Cambridge examiner. For example, here using I, me and my, for example, instead of saying I carried out research using ABCD method, a more formal way would be to say research was carried out using ABCD method. So, passive voice kind of sentences should be used for writing style in opinion writing question. Continuing with the writing style, however, sometimes you may need to express a personal opinion. What do you think about the situation given, or report on an individual activity based on some one person did some activity, in that there is no other go, you have to use I, me, my, mine expression. Coming to the next is, in these circumstances you should use your judgment, your opinion, your imagination, so that you should be able to present what is in your mind about the situation if it is based on individual piece of writing. So, in these circumstances you should use your judgment to decide what is appropriate or follow any guidance that is given. Guidance by the examiner in the question paper, instructions given in the question paper. Moving on to writing style, some more elements. Try not to be too opinionated, having a fixed opinion about something and it will not change. So, try not to be too opinionated in your writing. Try to find a neutral way of expressing your viewpoint, neutral way. Let us see. For example, instead of saying this is a rubbish idea, extremely inappropriate, considering you should consider saying there are a number of problems with this idea, such as, then you can list a point or two in order to convince the examiner, oh, this is what makes it least important. Coming to the next, writing style continuation. Several aspects of good report writing are shared with other pieces of formal written work. You need to, yes, write in proper sentences and paragraphs unless otherwise specified. Try to keep your sentences reasonably short. Here I would like to add, now there are different 3 types of sentences: simple, compound and complex. When a child or candidate presents variety of sentences, it leaves a better impression on the examiner. Rather, you use all lengthy or complicated sentences and try to impress the examiner, it would sound something artificial, well prepared or ready made, already tailored. So, please bring a variety of simple, compound and complex sentences in your piece of writings. As a general rule, each sentence should, number 1, make just one point. One sentence presented by you should only be presenting one piece of mind, one thinking, one logic. So, it should just make one point. It should be clear in the sentence. Presentation, spelling and grammar are very important. Any disturbance in this will make your piece of writing vague. Examiner does not understand, the red pen will not allot you marks. It is always worth taking some time at the end to read through your report, looking for any errors and checking that it all makes sense. It has been observed multiple times that if you have given a student to write a piece of writing and the student has done it, give another ink pen for the student to revise it and try to correct the mistakes with the red pen, for example. You would be surprised to see that your own attempt will have multiple mistakes and you would be able to correct them on the spot. So, please, you should find some time in the planning of writing a piece of writing. You must spare some time, a minute or two, in order to revise what you have opted. After writing style, we will go to the next category, and that is using your own words. One of the very important requirement by the examiner, first content and the second one is use of language. Use your own words is a very impressive thing. Every child is trained to use this expression. When you refer and discuss materials, it is important as far as possible to paraphrase. Paraphrase means when you write them in a very easy English, easy to understand or comprehensible piece of writing, paraphrase them, as this helps to show that you have understood them. So, this is how you have to use your own words. Key terms, specific terms, concepts or ideas do not need to be paraphrased. There would be some terminology, some expressions like we will see. For example, sustainable design, describing a situation, a specific product and its design, a category is given, that phrase has been given, sustainable design. So, in order to paraphrase it, it would become very difficult for the students to think about during that crucial time of examination, and plus it is given in inverted commas, for example. So, you have to simply quote it as it is given in the paper. Innovation frame. So, these are two expressions as example they are given. If you do quote something, for example, as evidence to support an argument you are making, then you should use quotation marks and reference the source. Quotation mark is very important. We should be able to understand how to use quotation mark, especially when we use our local expressions in quotation marks on inverted commas, so that the Cambridge examiner sitting there in UK understands, this is the local expression used. Okay, moving on to the next category, and that is structure. Structure is how your piece of writing appears. Let us see. Headings, captions, topics and subheadings are particularly helpful in a report, as they act as signposts for the reader. We have seen it is very easy for any piece of writing or sample piece of writing. First heading is given, heading gives us some kind of approach of the writer. Subheadings give us that it is a type of a topic sentence or one expression, two words. So, they define what is given in the paragraph. So, they are very helpful tools when you are writing. Look at whether the headings would make sense if you took the content away. Remove the content. Heading, does it convey some message? If it does convey message, means your heading is appropriate, and if it does not, it sounds very vague. So, it means you need to rectify this mistake. The main headings you use will probably derive from the question. Main heading definitely relates to question given, but the subheadings will depend on your approach, how you are presenting. Every student varies from person to person, every student varies and their approaches will be different, subheadings will definitely differ to the answer, and not everyone will be the same. That is what I was saying just now. What are some vocabulary expressions you could use when writing the report? A lot of students, number of students, they have come up, what kind of vocabulary expressions we should use in order to leave a better impression on the examiner. My dear students, here we have, if you are having a session and you are sitting in front of the screen, kindly take a notebook and a pen, so that you should be able to scribble down some of the expressions which otherwise might not be that easily available to you. So, let us see what are those expressions. Vocabulary to be used in report writing. In paragraph 1, after writing the the heading, second is the byline, we will introduce what is coming up in the question. What is that? The introduction should summarize the topic. Introduction should summarize the topic. The purpose of the report is to examine, is to investigate, or is to calculate. The phrase is given here. The purpose of the report is to examine, investigate, or calculate. The report aims to describe, outline and summarize, to make something very brief, and the report provides information about a research that was carried out. So, this is how these three expressions, I will repeat. The purpose of the report is to examine, investigate, calculate. The report aims to describe, outline, summarize. The third expression is the report provides information about
Migota Darifula Bappa Goyagan Miskitan Auma Ki Mikudi Namar Kurma Iver Devidana Varapodu Vara Rangal Kamekama around the camp.
Okay. So, this paragraph could be opened by referring on the event or activity, like the students of ABCD school recently visited a workshop on bullying, anti-bullying some campaign. The members of environmental club recently conducted a seminar on some campaign to go and conduct some activity to save the beaches. Mention why the event or activity was conducted. So, the student should be able to mention the purpose, the objective behind what made all the group of students or a specific class of students or group of people go and carry out this activity, the objective, the purpose behind. So, mention why the event or activity was conducted as a part of an awareness campaign is one purpose. Second, an initiative to raise awareness about. Introduction also should summarize the purpose of the event activity being reported. So, why this report is being written, who asked? The principal asked, leading teacher asked, or specially some specific person asked to write a report. The purpose of this report is to make people aware. The aim of the report is to evaluate the market price of maybe corals found at the beaches. Then proceed to state the event activity along with its date. Now, in this phase of this presentation, here vocabulary to be used in report writing, we are just talking generally some of the phrases that could be used as vocabulary, then proceed to state the event, activity along with its date. The visit to the recycling center in Tilafushi on April. Now, this tells the history about the activity along with its date. So, when we talk of the date in the upcoming some slides, you would be able to know about what is the technicality in presenting the date, what should be avoided and what should be opted. So, at the visit to the recycling center in Tilafushi on 10th April, this paragraph should contain information about what you have experienced. Now, we have completed the paragraph 1, the phrases, the expressions used in the first paragraph, those expressions we have presented. Now, we are moving to the second and third paragraph, and that is the main body of your report writing. In that, this paragraph should contain information about what you have experienced, what you have witnessed, what you have observed, what you have watched. So, all these things you are going to present it on your piece of paper in the local market, for example, in the restaurant or during the visit to, imagine a job expo or maybe schools expo, some kind of international educational expo. So, in the local market, in the restaurant and during the visit to here. Now, the situations are how they are presented. This paragraph should contain information about what you have experienced in the local market. We were informed that the total inflow of thousands of people has been reduced because of this COVID-19. Or in the restaurant, we observed the largest crowd in the specific restaurant, and we have not seen any other restaurant so much crowded by the customers. And during the visit to for example, canning factory there in Felivaru or some place. So, during the visit to canning factory, students listened to the staff briefing them or detailing them about the overall procedure. During the visit to the museum, we watched or we heard different kind of soundtracks and video clips about how different kind of ceremonies were conducted in the past history of Maldives. So, we are moving on to the same paragraph 2, main body, and this paragraph should contain information about what you have experienced, the continuation, the same thing during the visit to the. Now, this whole situation is coming up. Earlier it was in fragments, now full sentence is coming. During the visit to the National Museum, we were informed by the guide that the exhibits present there were hundreds of years old. So, this is how you have to present in paragraph 3, main body, and that is also going to be part 2, main body, paragraph 2 also, paragraph 3 also, main body, main structure is there. So, you have to present, you have to see what is presented in this. In this paragraph should contain information about what your findings are. Having visited the place, having been to a specific venue, having experienced or witnessing the whole situation, what are your findings? Whether this trip has opened your eyes for specific activity, what has happened, what change it has brought in your concept about this place. So, findings are what you learned through observation and participation in events or activities conducted in the course of the whole trip. So, paragraph 3 will continue with that. By listening or by observing or by watching, these expressions few of you students can take down in case you want. Now, here the whole situation has come up. By listening to the staff at museum, by listening to the guide, I could clearly imagine how our ancestors used these different kind of artifacts in their practical lives in when we are visiting a museum. By observing the demonstration, we could easily develop a thinking about, oh, the life must have been very difficult in the past time. thank God we are gifted with latest technology and facilities. And by watching the animation, I could clearly imagine, by watching the imagination, how skillfully or tactfully the person who prepares animation has put his mind into it, and then it touches our heart. Wow, wonderful animation. So and then after this paragraph 2 and paragraph 3, the expressions we have displayed earlier. Now coming to the 4th paragraph, and that is going to the end of our piece of writing, and in this paragraph 4 you will be covering. Let us see. Conclusion can be combined with a recommendation, as it requires to recommend the ways to tackle the issues highlighted in the report. Now what does it say? In the conclusion or conclusive paragraph, we not only conclude, on the whole the trip was very eye-opening experience, it was very explorative, or it was something we had never ever thought about it. It was something extraordinary, unique trip, and you can even touch upon some negative aspect also here. So requires to recommend the ways to tackle the issue, so that what improvisation could be done in order to handle the issue in the future, that this trip can be more fruitful, more rewarding and more entertaining for the students in the near future. So this is how you will be concluding. Phrases for recommendation. Yes, when in order to promote or recommend or give you some suggestions, we can simply use these expressions, like I therefore suggest the venue could be made broad or larger in order to conduct this jumble sale activity. For example, somebody has been to jumble sale and there they find a lot of crowd, a lot of fundraising, but people felt suffocated. So I therefore suggest that this kind of activity could be conducted in a larger ground, and then the people would benefit as well as they would feel comfortable for movement there in the venue. I would like to recommend that there should be proper publicity beforehand done, so that people go there for this for example educational expo well prepared, ready, and they would have their questions in their mind. So in the near future, when such a expo is conducted, all the students should be given proper pamphlets or booklets or some kind of handbills, so that they are mentally alert before they step into the venue where the expo is being conducted, and then they should be ready for all kind of queries. To address the issues stated in the report, I would suggest this should be included, so that it gives a very rewarding outcome. So paragraph 4 continuation, some phrases I would suggest that, okay, I would suggest here subject plus should plus verb. I would suggest we is a subject here, we should increase is a verb here, the duration of the specific trip. For example, if the students are taken to Munnaaru, for example, they are going for a trip about 2 hours journey, coming back 2 hours journey, there the total duration they get about 5 hours. In 5 hours all the students, they rush to go to different laboratories and different places. So students would be tired in between lunch break, and the students would not be able to cover as much as educational academic materials or maybe their observations, for which they can recommend. I would suggest that we should increase the duration of the overall trip. It could be converted into, we suggest that the next time trip should be converted into some overnight stay, overnight trip, so that one day traveling and some observations, the next day further observations, and the next evening. It could be more planned, it could be well planned by the parents, contribution by the parents and the school administration and the factory people as well. So this is how paragraph 4 should be concluded. There are some more. It will clearly or surely be a good idea if if the event is better organized for our next visit. So, in all these recommend phrases, you would have to give some kind of expressions which show that next time it should be better, it should be well planned, it should be conducted at a point where there is a more space, if previously there has been a space problem. So, this is how it has to be conducted. So, after having this vocabulary, there are some phrases. The sellers should improve the quality of the goods they sell. So, these were 3 different kind of phrases given here, and according to these sentences, according to these phrases, you should make the sentences. With the course of time, when you do practice every now and then write about this kind of piece of writing, so you would definitely get well versed with such kind of expressions. They will not sound very odd to you, and you will be able to cover up this. My dear students, having discussed the structure, use of own words and some of the vocabulary relevant to this report writing question, we have covered this. We have some more expressions, some more format about report writing that we'll do in the next session, and it is still to be continued. Hope to see you in the next session with a lot new ideas and some of your queries as well. If you come across any such doubts, please do write to us. Thank you. See you very soon.